Hi, this is Julia Widdop with Seeker's Journey TV, and today we have with us Linda Cheek, an MD who has written a book about her hero's journey called Target Pain Doc. So, Linda, tell us about your story, your journey, and your book.
Okay. Well, my book is actually a novel, but it is what is going on. I didn't want it to be actually my story because it's happening to doctors all over the country. What's happening is the United States Justice Department has decided to spread the misinformation across the country that pain medicine causes addiction. However, historically, we know that's not the case because back in the 1800s, a whole lot more of illegal drugs were being used and heroin was being used and cocaine was being used, and we did not have the drug addiction that we do today. So we have to really uncover the real cause of drug addiction, which I have, but the government really wants to silence me. They want to continue doing what they are doing to pain doctors all over the country, putting good doctors in prison. Basically, it's follow the money. If you follow the money in our government, you will find all of the people that are just trying to make sure they have job security by chasing doctors. They don't go after the real criminals because if you attack a doctor, you can get paid back for it. So we become the sitting ducks. And the other problem is that we are, I'm afraid, our own worst enemy in the fact that other doctors will not come to our assistance. So my hero's journey is that I am going to hopefully become the hero of the chronic pain patient in this country.
Wonderful. And how did this start? What was your first inkling that you were being targeted?
Well, I was a second career physician. I became a physician at the age of 40 after being a teacher. And because I had some life experience prior to medical school, I knew when the professor said, we don't know how to treat that, I knew there were treatments, but they were in the alternative medicine area. So once I got my MD, I took it upon myself to learn alternative medicine. I'm an acupuncturist. I do homeopathy, prolotherapy. Basically, if it's out there in the alternative world, I have learned about it through my own self-study. I can justify pain, and so when pain patients started coming to me wanting treatment, instead of the usual conventional, oh, you're just a drug seeker, get out of my office, I could understand that they were in pain and that this pain needed to be treated, and I could treat it. And so I did. I started treating it alternatively. I also used opiates, which that is what draws in the government. Once a doctor uses opiates on pain patients, the government can look up your records, see that you're prescribing opiates, and basically they go after the doctors in the state that are prescribing the most of your Schedule II medications. I only prescribe Schedule II medications because they are the healthiest. What you need to avoid in this country to avoid drug abuse, there are two things that cause drug abuse in this country, and it's not pain pills. It's sugar and Tylenol. That's my
Wow.
Little bit of information out there for the people listening.
I just threw out all my Tylenol. I read up on it, and I went to the medicine cabinet, and I threw it all out. I thought, I'm not
going to... But you see, our government doesn't want us to be healthy. Another thing that I had been telling my patients, because I'd been seeing my patients, we'd been doing exercise, we'd been doing counseling, I see them in group therapy, and as I saw them in group therapy, I would tell them, you have to take responsibility for your own health. The government doesn't want you well. The government wants you sick because that's where the money is. That's what our economy runs on now. We are a sickness economy. And if you are healthy and you live past the age of 65, again, the government doesn't want that. The government wants us to use our dollars all we can in the health system today, support the hospitals, support the pharmaceutical industry. Everybody makes a buck and then die before the age of 65. And what they're teaching us to do through their misinformation, basically through their lies, then we are following them because we believe the government is looking out for our best interest. And what we have to figure out is that the government is not interested at all in us, and we have to be interested in ourselves. The smart will live, the stupid will die off, as I guess you could say, survival of the fittest.
Well, and I think they just want to keep a young workforce, and if you're getting old, they'd prefer that you wouldn't be around because you'll be taking advantages
of... Right. They're so short-sighted. They don't realize that because of our terrible diets, because of our acidity in our diets, that young people are now reaching old age status in their 30s.
Yes.
You have people with back problems, people on disability, and they're going to possibly look at 30 to 40 years drawing government income because of disabilities that I can fix. As an alternative practitioner, I can fix those problems and make those people function. I was doing it. As soon as they made me stop doing it, those people went on disability. About a third of my practice is now on disability because of the government attacking me and putting me out of business.
Because then they couldn't get any help for their pain and their problems.
Exactly.
Right.
And what I was doing was helping them heal, getting rid of the cause of their pain with the prolotherapy and the cleansing and the watching the diet and so on. So it's a racket. Our government is actually right now involved in a racket of lies. You know, if you look back in history in the 1930s, the same type of lies is what got Hitler in power. And we can look at our country today and see, and then one of Hitler's quotes was, "The bigger the lie, the more they'll believe." And so the government is actually feeding us with all these lies, knowing that they have a plan. They have a plan high up there in the echelon of the government, and it isn't for the people. What we need to do is, and I hope that this doesn't step on any toes, but we need to first become Christians again. And then we need to take our faiths and beliefs in taking care of the people, which is basically what Christianity is about. Love your neighbor instead of loving a idol, which in our country, the idol is the almighty dollar.
Yeah. I think greed is what's really driving everything, driving the whole works, the whole mess. That's what resulted in the collapse of our economy. Well,
right. But God has picked me to be hopefully the leader in this role. Picked a 63-year-old grandma type with no money, no income. I took care of the poor, the disabled, the elderly. I never made any money as a doctor, and they've targeted me. So, I mean, I think God has made me become the perfect target for carrying this to the public, to America, to show them what our government is doing as far as ruining people's lives.
So that was your call.
I don't mind. That was my call. Yeah. I truly believe that God has called me for this. He prepared me for it over the course of my life. My life hasn't been easy, but He's prepared me. He's strengthened me. He's given me the fortitude to know that what's important isn't material things. I mean, right now I'm selling everything I own. My house, if I don't have income within the next 2 months, I'll lose my business. I'll lose my house. Who cares? You know, it's not gonna, I can't take it with me when I die. You know, they never have a U-Haul pulled behind a hearse. So I figure that, you know, I'm the perfect person to stand up to this, and hopefully I will become well known. Hopefully I'll become the Rosa Parks of the pain management world. Right now we have 116 million people out there with pain, and that does not include people living in residential homes. So it's not including a good portion of our population, which is the elderly and the people in nursing homes. So 116 normal working in the family people out there, of which half of them cannot find a doctor to treat their pain because of the fear, abject fear that our government has put in the hearts of physicians, that if they treat pain, they will be treated as I'm being treated. And basically the way I'm being treated is I have asked the government for direction for what I was doing. The government refused to give me direction, and now they're charging me with drug trafficking, basically, is what they're going to be charging me with. I expect to be indicted on Thursday for drug trafficking and Medicare fraud, and I'm not even associated with Medicare. But what the similarity would be if you were out of the country for a while, and you came back, and let's say they had removed all the street signs saying to stop, saying what the speed limit was, and you asked the policeman, what's the speed on my street, and, you know, where do I stop? And he would just shrug his shoulders, but the minute you get in your car and drive out onto the street, they're there to arrest you. That's basically how they have it set up for doctors such as me. Mm-hmm. They interpret the laws to suit themselves, mm-hmm. and then they actually make it so that you break a law.
And wow. So this made, you don't know how your hero's journey will come out in the end, or how much longer your road of trials and tribulations might be.
Well, if they indict me on Thursday, I'm expecting to go to trial in the summer. And so I just hope that the trial becomes extremely publicized all over the country, and that people watch it and that people see what's going on. I am publicizing everything on my blog. You know, one of the problems with our society today is the legal system basically has it set up to where nobody knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. I am actually going to be taken care of by a federal prosecutor, federal public defender, because I have no income. And I am publicizing this, and it doesn't matter what the lawyer says about being quiet and don't say anything, because what you say they can use against you. Be my guest, government. You know, you want to come after me, you want to do whatever it is. I've admitted to what I did wrong, and if they want to put me in prison for what I did, then be my guest. So this is going to be hopefully the most televised pre-trial and trial that this country has ever seen, because even though it does end up putting me in prison, even though something I might say, they could come back and possibly find me guilty of something that, again, I wouldn't know I was being guilty of. But if that's what they want to do, our country, our people need to see that this is the way our legal system works. There are a lot of innocent people in the prisons. That's one of the things my federal public defender told me. I said, you know, I'm innocent. I don't deserve this. And his answer to me was, there are lots of innocent people in prison. That's wrong. We should not be in a society where our legal system basically runs because of money, so that both sides make money off of the common. I think anybody that has been in the legal system recognizes that fact. Nobody wins but the lawyers.
Well, and that's the problem with making
hopefully I can show that this is going on. Hmm?
That's the problem with making the prisons private also, because they're based on profit. They want people in prison. What's the name of your blog, in case people want to follow this?
Right. My name on my blog is www.alternativetopain.wordpress.com.
Okay.
And my website is, you ready?
Yes.
www.lindacheekmd.com.
Okay.
And that's where you can find my book.
Okay.
And might I throw in a little commercial here?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. I need to sell 50,000 books to pay my house so that I don't lose my house. So hopefully by July the 1st, I will be Amazon.com bestseller. I am launching my book on May 15th. Anyone who would like to help me with that launch, anyone who has a large email list that would like to provide their subscribers opportunities to win up to $2,000 worth of free things, needs to connect with me to be able to send out an email on that day so that I can sell my books, so that I can become an Amazon.com bestseller and hopefully save my businesses and my house.
Okay.
I would appreciate any help that people could give me.
And do you have a Facebook page, Linda?
I do. My business Facebook page is www.facebook.com/Cheek50.
Cheek50. Okay. Okay. All right. So we can also go there and spread the word.
Right. And I usually try to find articles, find information on other doctors that are going through the same thing I'm going through, for example. Mm-hmm. Doctors that have been charged with crimes and put in prison over this. And the main thing is people need to understand that pills are not the problem here. The problem with addiction, what causes addiction, is anxiety. And that's how sugar becomes a culprit, because sugar creates anxiety. Sugar creates hypoglycemia. When you're hypoglycemic, your body becomes anxious. It creates acidity. Acidity creates an underlying anxiety. So basically, our anxiety that we actually then look for drug solutions is actually caused by our diet. If people ate an alkaline diet, which if they're interested, they can find that information on my website. If people worked on their diet, got rid of the sugar, got rid of the wheat, got rid of the dairy, got rid of the red meats, and ate mostly fruits and vegetables, they would find that their anxiety decreases. They would not need to be looking for drugs for relief. But the pill itself is not the actual cause of the addiction. It is a source of relief from the anxiety. So people will go to the pills because they are anxious, but it is not in other words, taking the pill does not immediately make everybody an addict. And that's what the government says. The government says there's something inherent in this pill that will turn you into an addict. And that is misinformation. That is totally false.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I'm actually previously a addiction counselor, so I have some experience in that field as well.
Yeah. One of the things I hope to do, if I end up ever getting out from under the government target, I hope to actually set up addiction treatment centers using the treatments that I did that got me in trouble with the government, which is cleansing, which is diet, which is spiritual, and basically show the country that, that they're on the wrong track. If I can actually get a better, I would anticipate that I could get 50 to 75% of people off drugs and stay off drugs as long as they maintained the lifestyle. The problem is our country is so sugar, we push sugar so much. We push it on commercials. We push it in everything we eat, fast food, and sugar is going to lead people right back down the path to their drugs. So they really have to stay off the sugar. And the problem
sugar's the gateway drug.
Yes. The problem with most addiction centers is the people that are in the addiction center use sugar as a substitute for their drug of choice while they're there. They're loading down on candy. They're drinking soda. And, of course, the people at the addiction centers don't know that that's just a temporary holdover until they can get back on the street. And that's why they only have about a 5% success rate. I could have a much better success rate. I've had a 50% success rate of getting people off nicotine. And so, it's amazing what I can do. But there again, because I've demonstrated this to the government, that I can heal people and I can help people and I can make people live long, happy lives, they're after me. So Please, everybody out there, pray that we can turn this around. We can make our government actually be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that's what I hope to do.
And support Linda by going to her website at lindacheekmd.com and sign up on her Facebook and spread her word. I would appreciate that too. Thank you for being with us, Linda. And if anyone has any questions, we're going to be available in the chat room right after this broadcast. Okay.